From the Highlands to the coast, we'll bring you the rivalries, the traditions, the legendary coaches, and tomorrow's superstars forging their path to greatness. You're watching CarolinaPreps.com.
Get off up, Lonnie! Get off up! Hold it! Hold it!
All right, guys. Hey, welcome to another edition of Inside the Headset, CarolinaPreps.com. I'm Chris Hughes. This is Tuesday night. I think it's Tuesday. This might be Wednesday. Heck, I'm short. Anyway, it's August the 20th. This is Wednesday night. Man, my week is flying by. But anyway, we were on for an hour and a half last night, breaking down a lot of the games for this upcoming week, week one of the North Carolina high school football season. And tonight, we're going to do something really cool. I'm going to bring on my partner here, one of my guys that helps us a lot with Carolina Preps, Josh Resignalo, Coach Rez, as he goes by. Coach, how you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be on. Thanks.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you take the ball and run with this one, literally take the ball, because we're going to be talking about some balls right here, footballs. But we're going to bring on a gentleman by the name of Brandon Eichert that you have put together a deal with us. And we are going to talk about his company for a little bit and a really special initiative that we're about to kick off here this week. You're about to start doing some nominations this week in each of the 8 geographical regions in the state. So, hey, Coach Rez, without further ado, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, so not sure, how much we put out there yet about everything we got going on. But first of all, glad to be a part of Carolina Preps, being a high school coach myself. That's been a platform that, everyone goes to for news and updates and stats and records and different things like that. So to be a part of what you've been doing, man, for a long time, it's pretty cool to be a part of. But, so this season we wanted to do something pretty cool. We talked about some stuff, in the summer and kicking off a high school player of the week, per se, across the state. In all 8 regions, partnering with the North Carolina Army National Guard and AI Apparel and Goat Sports, who actually provided the footballs. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll actually hand those out each week to 8 different players with them and their coach and different things like that. And just something cool to do. You've done a player of the week stuff before, but not at this extent across the state.
Definitely not this ambitious. This is going to be a really cool deal.
Yes, sir. So the first person to come in mind for me in doing something like this is someone that I've been associated with through the years on the arena football side as a professional coach. Brandon Eichert was a player himself. He'll talk a little bit more about himself. Let him give a better introduction. But being friends with him and just finishing up myself in the National Arena League this past season. Brandon Eichert's the commissioner of the National Arena League, which is an indoor arena football league that's primarily on the East Coast to Midwest. And then you got another league that's from Midwest to the West Coast. So their company provided the footballs for the league, and it's an awesome football. It's probably one of the best indoor arena footballs that I've had in my career of 19 seasons. So the first person to think of in something like this, a partnership with the Army National Guard, is Goat Sports and Brandon Eichert, and he was the first thing to come to mind, and he jumped all on it. He was excited about. He does a lot of things with high schools already in the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, and many businesses. And again, he'll explain a little bit about his business from that standpoint. But man, Brandon, it seems like we can't get away from each other. We got all kinds of different things you can think of, and anything we can do for the kids, man, to make it happen. So appreciate you coming on board with us.
Yeah. So Brandon, tell us about your business and about everything that you do regarding athletics.
So the company that you're partnering with this one primarily is our Goat Sports, and Goat Sports is started out as a honestly just a dream of mine, to be honest with you, to pass the time. I had another company that we do a lot of corporate branding. So with Goat Sports, we work primarily on uniforms, jerseys, accessories, things of that nature that go throughout sports, all the way from middle school, all the way up. I mean, we can do recreational stuff. It doesn't matter, but it's true cut and sew. So when you think of, doing the Nike brand or the Under Armour brand or those things that have that high price point, we're able to bring those down to the affordable cost for the schools that want them. So it's not something that we go after the price point. We go after the ability to help give back to communities. I mean, I've sponsored, Rez, you talk about this. There's a school locally I sponsored here this year. I did all their softball stuff. I said, hey, what do you want? I know that middle schools in the state of North Carolina and probably across the nation, they don't have a lot of funds. So I like to pick one organization every year and just give back. And they happen to be that one this year, and was just able to basically provide them with all of that. The side of doing what you're doing is the custom footballs. So we do make all the footballs for the National Arena League. We have that agreement contract. We did for the AAL2, which is another indoor league last year, and a couple other small organizations, as well as for flag football teams and organizations like that. So we do a lot of different ones, allows us to customize them. We've even done some that are photo balls. So it's just a matter of what a person's looking for in that aspect. And with our company, for the range we've got, not only with the apparel, but the school stuff, we have a wide range of what we do. We do fundraisers, obviously, and anything we can to help give back. I mean, my experience obviously started out coaching. I mean, I coached high school ball in North Carolina, went on to coach prep school ball in South Carolina, went on and coached at IMG for a year as the head coach of their post-grad program. And so that's why I just always want to give back. I know that there's not a lot of money available at those opportunities, and a lot of times it's boosters. And if it's not a well-known booster program that raises tons of money, there are schools that struggle for those finances.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. I don't know if we got a graphic of the ball. I'll try to put one up real quick. But I've seen the photo that Coach Rez sent me that's got the logos from the Army National Guard on it. It's got the Carolina Prep branding. I think it's a pretty sweet looking ball. And how this is going to work is every Friday night into Saturday, we're going to have coaches from around the state. I'm going to be sending out a mass email to all the coaches in the state tomorrow, really introducing this program to them, because it's really up to our coaches to send in nominations each Friday, Saturday. Coach Rez, myself, my team of guys that help us out here at Carolina Preps who really have a grasp on the teams and the players and everything like that. We're going to go over these nominations. And then the following week, our goal is to take Coach Rez, myself, and some other representatives from Carolina Preps, as well as hopefully some National Guard personnel as well. And we're gonna present these balls at a practice, at the school, at some place on the campus. We're going to give a game ball out in each of the 8 geographical regions in the state. And we're talking every region. There's not a region in the state that's not covered. So, that way we're not overlooking kids. And there's going to be a lot of young men. We're talking about 80 plus, 88 plus players getting recognized with the game ball this year. I think that's pretty cool. And again, I got to tip my cap here to Coach Rez for really opening my eyes to this. Like he said, I've given out game of the week balls in the past, and it's been really successful, but I think this has taken it to a new level, and I'm excited for that opportunity for these kids. So, Coach Rez, and again, I'm kind of giving you the credit for that, because you're the one that really kind of expanded this idea maybe more than my smaller thinking.
Yeah, you've done a lot of cool stuff, and when we were talking about it, and we wanted to try to do something to really, I wouldn't say go in a different direction, but just really try to enhance, what was been going on with the landscape of high school football, and just the following and the player recognition, different things like that. I think there's a lot of players across the state that deserve a little bit more recognition and really helping. It's going to help with their recruiting. Especially anything we can do for the high school athlete now, especially with college football and the way the transfer portal is. And, those coaches aren't really going to the high schools like they used to. So anything that we can do to help get those guys in the spotlight, is, really how we wanted to make this happen. And it keeps us involved. We're all coaches at some point, and to be able to still be involved and help as many kids as possible. It's just a cool thing to and give North Carolina high school football the recognition that it deserves, because it's some good football.
Sure, I agree. And again, Brandon, with your business here, and I've seen some of the work that you guys put out there with your business, and the graphic and the branding and everything you put through. I think it's not only going to promote what you do, but I just think it's cool for these guys, these players, to have a really cool quality ball that's going to last, hopefully for their whole life, because our playing days have all passed us, but these memories they make at the high school level, these are core memories that I think are going to stay with them forever.
That's the key. A lot of people, and we know this, you do this a lot, Chris. There's guys in small schools. This is the prime time of their life. I mean, let's be honest. They love this. They're not going to get to do this after 4 years. They're going to do it for 4 years. And when that senior time drops, some people don't realize if they've not actually lived that life, that when that last game happens, that's it.
That's it.
And then all they've got left is, and we're in a transient world right now where not many people stay in their hometown. So back in the day, when I was growing up, when you were growing up, all the people around, even you guys, they were there. They came back to the games. And now it's not the same. So you may not, being where I'm at, I'm near Maiden. So I went to Maiden High School. We all would go back to Maiden High School and watch the games. Now you've got all the individuals. Now that they're grown up, they may move to Charlotte. They may move, they may move across the nation to somewhere in California or somewhere else. They're not able to do what they used to do. Those are the memories they get just that time period. And it's kind of nice to give something back that this is a physical thing that they're going to be able to keep with them.
Absolutely. And that's what kind of got me sold on the deal. And then, of course, Coach Rez and myself are both veterans. I retired from the Army. He's a Marine. So, we got that both, just the country, the pride, the patriotism, this is also our way of giving back to our, not only the military, but our state, the National Guard serving our state. So, Coach Rez, I'll let you elaborate on that, but I know that was something important to me, and I think it was to you as well.
Yeah. So, being a Marine and in the military, and, I try to incorporate that with everything that I do, especially on the professional side. That's always a big theme night for me and my organizations that I'm with military appreciation and first responder, stuff like that. And pretty much everywhere I've been on the professional level, I've had some form of relationship with the recruiting office of certain branches. Doesn't really matter the branches. I always try to do Marines first, obviously, but I have a really strong tie with National Guard. I've had a lot of different partnerships with the different states I've been a part of. And every time I do something different, I try to find a way to incorporate things that the network that I've built and kind of bring that with me to other platforms, and to be able to have that instant connection, to be able to pick up the phone and call down to the main office down in Raleigh and get routed to the right person to be able to speak to about something like this. And they were so excited to be a part of it. We'll have them on soon, and they'll be able to really dive into that aspect of what that means for them, for their organization to be a part of the high schools, because they're heavy in schools as it is. So any opportunity that they have to be able to be in front of the kids and have their visibility and their presence associated with sports and the athletes, and because those are the kids they're going after, really, too. The athlete is usually the first one they're trying to get to go to the military. And, it's just a cool partnership to be able to kind of merge it all together with my background, my experience that I've done, and kind of to be able to continue that with the love of football, too. So it keeps me around. I'm not able to coach high school football this year. So to be able to be a part of it in some way, and to be able to be a part of delivering that football to the kid and their coach, and traveling around Friday nights to different games. I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but we have with the season starting this week, it's excited and exciting, and, everyone's looking forward to it. And this right here, I think, is going to be a staple for the season, as kids are waiting to see who's going to get nominated and kind of creating that buzz. I think that'll be pretty cool to be able to be a part of that.
I think it will be. So again, thanks to you, Coach Rez. Brandon, I appreciate you. You touched on something. You said you was from Maiden, so I got to ask you some Maiden stories. I was at Maiden visiting Coach Byrne at practice last week. I know that they got an incredible team this year. How often do you get back to the games? And just kind of give me maybe some core memories you've got from your days. I'm assuming you played for Coach Brown.
I did. I played for Tom. So, and Ford was the JV coach back. Yeah, and Ford was the JV coach back in the day. As far as getting to games now, Rez will verify this. I am so busy. I don't get to many. He knows that. He tries to get in touch with me. So I'm with work and business and doing stuff. I don't get to get as many as I want to. I remember even coaching. So I was coaching back in the day. I coached from 2014 through 2019 at Maiden. So that was a little bit of a run there. That's back when we had, obviously, Caleb was there. Zay Huff was there. I think Zay's coaching now. Zay was there. I think Caleb may be helping now. You obviously had Keegan Mayfield. There were a lot of other guys that went on to play college ball from those teams. And not a great memory for Maiden. Probably shouldn't talk about it. But I remember when, what is the Dickinson from the Eagles?
Landon.
When he played for South Caldwell. Yes.
I'll
He
say
cleaned out Keegan on the sideline right in front of us one time.
I'm
That
going to
was a
say
crazy
this,
memory.
and I'm glad you brought that up, Brandon. I told a guy this, Andy Rodden, who works with us here at Carolina Preps. He played tackle for Western Carolina back in the 90s. I was at a playoff game, I guess it's about a decade ago now, A.L. Brown up at South Caldwell with Landon Dickerson. And that's the first game I can say in my lifetime that I saw an offensive lineman dominate the game on both sides of the ball. I mean, he totally controlled that game from an interior lineman position on both sides. There's no wonder why he's still getting it done at the high level at the NFL.
I mean, that's honestly when they weren't the greatest of teams at that point either. So, I mean, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, I mean, he may be one of the top 5 best offensive linemen I've ever seen in the state of North Carolina. And we've seen some good ones. We sure have. I'm not going to give it away because I think it's going to be – I'm assuming you played at the new stadium, not the old one.
No, I played at the old one.
Oh, you played at the old one?
I was the old Tom Brown Stadium. I was at the true original Tom Brown Stadium. I mean, I'll say it because I'm not a booster and I'm not affiliated right now. That's where games should be. That was an environment. That was a true environment. The track at the new stadium, it puts the fans too far away.
It does. I agree. I am not going to break this news here on here, but Coach Byrne and everybody there at Maiden have done some renovations at the new stadium, and it's going to bring back a little bit of the old flair, and I can't wait for that to kind of come to fruition and let the fans kind of get an idea of what they've done there, because I think it's going to be really cool. But you're right. I was able to go to a couple games at the old stadium, and that was just one of the most unique and just great environments for football.
Well, I mean, they'll never be able to bring back the Creek gang. They won't allow them in the stadium down there close to the field nowadays. But that was the thing. You had the Creek gang on one end zone right there at the concession stands, and all the kids playing, tackle football right behind them. It was an experience.
Wow, yeah, it sure was. Man, well, hey, I think that's going to do it for this part. But I don't know if you want to hang around, Brandon, and talk a little bit about some of the games this week, or if you need to peel off of here. But we just appreciate the partnership with you guys. I'm looking forward to getting your branding and promoting your business more throughout the course of this year. And again, I just want to say thank you for your part in making this great initiative happen.
Absolutely. Anything you guys need, like I've told Rez, just get in touch with me. I mean, we're giving back to the local community, and that's what really matters. I remember when you started technically branding this out even more and more when I was still coaching. So anything I can do to help give back to local companies, local businesses, and the kids, that's what I'm all about. Well,
thank you, Brandon. And I don't know, do you want to hang out or you need to get out of here?
I say I've got one in 10 minutes. I can hang out for about 5 more, but then I have to jump out. So if it's better to jump out now, I can do that.
That's fine. It's up to you. But I want to throw it here to Coach Rez just because I know you're going to be at the Starmount Mount Airy game Friday. We broke down all the games last night, but I know you were the offensive coordinator at Starmount last year, so I know you know that team very well. You're going to be on the sidelines there up at Mount Airy. That's going to be an incredible environment, great opening week environment. Give me your thoughts on them two teams because I feel like you know them as well as anybody.
Yeah, that's an exciting matchup out the gate, for them, especially with all the reclassifications and them kind of separating themselves and really start kicking it off is going to really set the tone, for the season because this is a big year for Mount Airy and this is going to be one of those years for them to where no one's really, there's a lot of uncertainties for next year and the year after that. Like this is their year, is what they think now. And Tayshawn Martin at running back, he's going to be something to see, as a senior, and his experience that he's had through the last few years is pretty exciting to be able to see that growth, through the last couple seasons. Being with Starmount last year as the offensive coordinator, we had a really good run last year. And our 2 losses last year happened to be versus Mount Airy, once early in the season and then in the early rounds of the playoffs last year. So both great games, tight games all the way to the end. I think the first game we lost by 3, and then the second game we lost by 8 in the playoffs. So it was pretty good smash mouth football. It's really tough to play at Mount Airy. Their fan base is one of the top notch in the area. Specifically, in the state, they got a really good following. If you look at some of the message boards, their fans are all over the place, talking about their Bears and whatnot. Starmount is young this year. They coming from last year to now, they lost quite a few seniors last year, some guys up front, so a lot of young guys stepping into key roles this year with new quarterback Deuce Best. He was the JV quarterback last year for Starmount. had a phenomenal season as a sophomore on the JV. Had some production here and there on the varsity level. So he's going to be really, really anxious, to jump in and take the lead. I'm excited for him and his opportunity. Great kid, great athlete, definitely somebody you want representing your school and being one of your leaders. They're going to be leaning on him a lot too. So, but it's going to be some really good matchup between both offenses and defenses on both sides. Starmount, again, I would say is going to have a really tough defense. Coach Pardue always does a good job with their defenses and whatnot, and they got some really good linebackers, probably a couple of some of the top in the state, and Cody and Kevon. So you got probably one of the best running backs in the state for Mount Airy.
Yeah.
So to have that matchup is pretty cool. Linebackers on running backs, and then you got Joyce, on the defensive end. They got some really good players for Mount Airy. It's going to really see what offense for Starmount can do. Friday night is the question mark right now for a lot of people. And Mount Airy is Mount Airy, and they know that this is their year to make it happen. And so they're going to be clicking. Now, I will say, facing Mount Airy, you definitely want to see in week 1. So that's definitely a good opportunity for Starmount to kind of jump right in and see where they're at as well. And it's kind of going to set the tone for both programs.
Yeah. And Austin Taylor, you got to tip your cap of what he's done. He's one of the incredible young coaches, and he's really young, played on those Mount Airy teams for Coach Kelly Holder. Back in the day, came up, cut his teeth coaching with JK. So, he really gets it. And I do think that, he's going to be a good one for a long time. And to see that program kind of, come to life with him, it's just cool to see. And you're right about that running back. I've seen some of the clips during their scrimmages. Mount Airy looked awfully impressive.
And I'll drop an early nugget. So I coached his little brother in rec basketball.
Oh, wow.
And I am excited to see what he does coming up through the ranks. That family, got a lot of athletes, and it's just an exciting time for their family, and a lot of key players that are involved in the state of North Carolina and, on the Mount Airy squad. And you got a couple young up and comers at linebacker for Starmount, and the quarterback, like I mentioned, Deuce Best. It's going to be a great matchup. It's a cool one for me for my debut of, being a part of Carolina Preps and really, highlighting some of the stuff from that game. And I live in Mount Airy, so it's kind of cool to be able to tie it all together. So,
man, cool deal. So you'll be there on the sideline. I'm going to be down there in Charlotte at the Carolina Panther Stadium watching that big event, Keep Pounding Classic. 2 great games. South Point from Rock Hill coming up to play Mallard Creek. And then, of course, the one I think everybody in the state's been anticipating, and Greensboro Grimsley coming down to take on West Charlotte. The 2 state champions from the 3A and the 4A last year going head-to-head. That's going to be a good one. I want to go to a quick break real quick, just kind of reset us and kind of, I know, Brandon, if you need to drop out, that's cool. But we do want to kind of take care of some business right here. And again, kind of promote this new partnership that we've got with the North Carolina Army National Guard. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in just a second.
You'll still have common days. Forget someone's name mid-conversation. Count your tips at the end of your shift. Buy something disappointing off the internet. This is not one of those days. A few weeks a year and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
And looks like we have drops with lost Brandon, but that's fine. Again, I just kind of want to reemphasize this partnership with him, Coach Rez. And again, I appreciate you and putting together this deal with the North Carolina Army National Guard and this Player of the Week thing. And if you just joined us, I know our viewership kind of fluctuates, when we're going live, but I just think it's really cool to be able to promote these young men in each of the 8 North Carolina regions this year. I think it's going to be a cool deal, my man.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was with the Carolina Cobras, an arena football team in Greensboro, I did a Player of the Week sponsored by the Carolina Cobras, and we went around to all the different schools and gave a Player of the Week each in the triad there each week. And that was a pretty cool experience to, to see the kids, see the coaches, put a smile on the kid's face and give them some recognition for a pretty good game, that previous week. And it's just motivating for them, something to look forward to. And everyone wants to win an award here and there. And it's a pretty cool football with the logos on it with the National Guard and Goat Sports and Carolina Preps, and just kind of tying it all together and just recognizing these kids, because these kids are deserve some recognition. And I'm excited to see it. Eight players a week is going to be pretty fun to logistically for us, pulling that off and making it happen, and everything that we can do to just keep this thing building. And I'm excited for what we got ahead.
Yeah, no doubt. Actually, I got the picture here of the football, and I'm trying to look real quick and see if I can upload this thing to the show real quick, just so we can kind of show that before we get it out here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it on or not. Let me see what I can do real quick.
So, some of the things that we're talking about doing as far as, handing the football and presenting it to the athlete and the coach, and National Guard representative and one of our representatives will be there, and just a cool moment, being able to be involved with that. I'm sure we'll have some tricks up overseas, throughout the season, maybe do one at a football game, on a Friday night, just anything that we can kind of do to kind of enhance it. It's going to be fun. I think we can have fun with it.
And here we go. I was able to get this up there while we're talking. There you can see it right there. Pretty cool football. There you see the white ball, the National Guard logo on the bottom. You got the Carolina Prep logo right there. Man, I think you outkicked it. You outkicked the coverage on this one, Josh. This is a really good deal.
Yeah, we're excited. And the cool thing about it too, it's not just us. The National Guard's excited about it. Brandon, we just had him on, he's looking forward to it. Anything that these guys can do to, with what Brandon does, and it might create some more network for him to be able to give back to different schools across the state, because he's really big at that, in that stuff. And, obviously the National Guard, they're all over the place with sports and different things that they do, different events. I really feel that this can turn into some cool stuff for us working with them, and it's sky's the limit really when you put together stuff like this. And the ones that benefit the most are the ones that it's about, and that's the kids and the programs, and and that's what Carolina Preps is about, and that's what I'm excited about being a part of.
Yeah, no, this is all about the kids. That's what you got to keep the main thing, and that's what it's always about, is promoting them, and that's why I'm just happy to be a part of this. And again, I want to thank you for it. Hey, I told you I was going to try to get you out of here by 7:30 tonight. When you do this every night, you try not to go too overboard, but I think we covered some ground. And again, I think this is going to be a really cool deal, and we're looking forward to it. When can I get you back on here for another show?
Yeah, you just let me know and we'll make it happen now that we're out there. And I'm glad to put it out there. I'm part of Carolina Preps, and again, thank you for having me. And this is going to be a cool deal, and it just keeps me involved with high school football, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Absolutely, my man. Well, hey, that's going to do it for tonight, Coach Rez. We've been showcasing my guy Andy Rodden, who's down there in Union County. We're slowly assembling a pretty good team here at Carolina Preps, and because I might be covering high school football for a long time, but I can't do it myself. So I appreciate guys like you, Coach Rodden, some other guys, and you can kind of get the trend here. Most of my team are guys like you and me that coached in this state for a long time. So I think that I think that's our niche, but it's all good.
Yes, sir. Well, we're looking forward to it, and I'm excited to get this thing kicked off.
All right, brother. Well, hey, I think that's going to do it tonight for Carolina Preps Inside the Headset podcast for Coach Josh Rosignolo, myself, Chris Hughes, and everybody else that helps me here in Carolina Preps. We're going to end it for the night. But good night, guys. Tomorrow is Thursday. A lot of JV games out there. So go out there. Even if you don't know any of those kids, go buy a ticket. Go support these schools. I'm always big about that. Go buy some concession stands, food. And then, of course, we know Friday night it's the real deal. So we hope you guys get out there and pack a lot of stadiums, because these schools sure do need your support. Those players need your help, your support, and they need your money too. So, that's important. But Coach Rez, I'm Chris Hughes, and we'll catch you maybe tomorrow night. We'll let you guys know. From the Highlands to the coast, we'll bring you the rivalries, the traditions, the legendary coaches, and tomorrow's superstars forging their path to greatness. You're watching CarolinaPreps.com.
Get off up, Lonnie. Get off up. Hold it, hold it.